Welcome back. Car makers most years come up with April Fool's Day jokes. Here's a few that live long in the memory. British company Auto Windscreens claimed in a blaze of publicity that it had invented the world's first prescription windscreen. No longer will drivers have to wear their glasses or contact lenses at the wheel, it said. We will talk to your optician and tailor the screen to suit. There was even a mocked-up video and publicity shot featuring British race driver Tom Chilton. Hyundai said it had built a special environmentally friendly Pope-mobile for the head of the Catholic Church. It said it had replaced the traditional leather seats with tapestries woven by monks from the Indian city of Utter Bollocks. BMW made a big deal out of its magnetic tow technology. It said the system used a magnetic field that would allow BMW drivers to creep up behind other traffic and latch on for a fuel-saving ride. For once, we're happy to be behind the competition, said the spoof ad. Our next guest has never been behind the competition. It's Wally Dumper, the Managing Director of Subaru New Zealand. You joined Subaru in '95 at the end of the first generation of the WRX.
Correct.
Okay, so you've followed the development of the WRX, the STI and the rest of Subaru obviously.
Seen them all come through, World Championships, etc., but we've seen the whole car evolve. But I don't want to sound cliche-ish, so
Well, the first one is, was raw and raucous, bags of fun. This latest one, which landed in New Zealand the other day, is classier, sophisticated. It's going to appeal to a new segment or a new buyer, do you think?
Well, we believe it will. We did a lot of research before we went out with the ad campaign, and the factory does a lot of research on where to target the car towards, but in New Zealand we hold a special place, so we had to be pretty careful how we targeted the car.
There's been, in the past, that I know you were concerned a wee bit about the image, your baseball cap backwards wearing sort of people and that it became a bit of a boy racer. But that reputation mostly came from the used imports, didn't it? Subaru used imports.
Yeah, well, New Zealand's a little bit exceptional because, we only sell about 2,000 cars a year.
Yeah.
But at one stage we had over 10,000 Subarus a year coming out of Japan. And of those, most of them were legacies and Outbacks, but a huge amount of them obviously became WRXs and Imprezas during that period, like mid-90s. So it's a good thing because lots of people were buying the cars, but a bad thing because an image came with it.
Yeah.
But the biggest issue we've overcome, we believe, with this new car, which is the car looks cool but goes cool.
Yeah, and it's a sedan only.
Sedan only.
So you don't think you're going to miss out on the hatch market?
Well, only time will tell.
Yeah.
But the issue you face today is the factories are driven by trends in other markets, not really New Zealand, where there's only 4 million people.
Yeah.
But the reality is, I believe that there seems to be a worldwide trend by all the manufacturers, especially the Europeans, to go towards sedan. And Subaru seems to have hooked onto that with this new WRX, so we hope they're right. The car's fantastic, and I suppose if they're not right, they can always develop a hatch at a later date.
Yeah, of course. Price is right too, Wally.
Price is dead right.
$48,990. That's what, $1,000 cheaper than the original '93.
Yeah, in 1993 the car was launched at $49,990, and here it is, 2014. It's actually a 2015 model.
Yes.
And we've launched it at $48,990. So.
Looking at the spread of models, Wally. When you look at other markets, say for Forester, for example, is hugely successful. It's the best-selling Subaru in Australia, isn't it?
Yeah, correct.
Where's it placed here?
It's number 2 or 3, depends on the month. Our market was always a little bit different to other world markets in that you got to remember we've had models released by factories ahead of other markets in the world.
Yes.
Whereas in most markets in the world, the Forester was launched probably one of the first SUVs. We followed many other brands here, which is unusual. Usually Subaru's first, but Forester sort of had to follow behind, and we've suffered ever since because of that. Having said that, the car hasn't. It's a great car, but from a sales success point of view, it's always served us well. It always holds about 20–25% of our volume.
Now, WRX, you've had some great experiences over the years in the world of rallying. You and Possum Bourne were great mates.
Arguably.
What, did he tell you what to do?
No, Possum always wanted money. It was always difficult for Possum. We were mates in the bar, but when it came to sponsorship, it was always a very difficult situation. Possum was a world champion.
Yeah.
Well, a world champion to us.
Yeah.
And he was forever wanting money to go rallying in other parts of the world, and our focus was New Zealand. So we had some interesting discussions. But loved him dearly, but it was one of those tough negotiation situations where you had to just live with what the end result was. I was fortunate when we had the first WRC car. I remember we bought that was about 98, and of course we had to pitch about $1 million towards the car, which was a reasonable amount of money. And where we are now, which is surrounded by buildings, there was a quarry, so we did a few laps of the quarry. Which possum was always a bit loose. It was great. So.
Well, it's great to talk to you all the time, mate. Enjoy your company. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks for having us on.
Well, that about wraps it up for the week. We'll be keeping tabs on motoring developments both here and overseas. And if you want some more info, you can always check out my website, automotivenews.co.nz. In last week's competition, the monogrammed coffee cups Citroen manager Simon Rose gave away were won by Christchurch man Evan Harris. As always, we'll leave you with an example of automotive advertising. This one's from New Zealand, a take on Fred Dagg's famous Gumboot song. Until next week, drive safe. I'm Alastair Sloane.